Hello everyone, it's Victor here, and this is the LGBTQ+ community in a nutshell. But first, before we get started, please go ahead and give that like button and subscribe button a click. We'll begin our discussion with the concept of a spectrum. A spectrum effectively goes from absolute zero to infinity, and contains all of the points or numbers in between 0 and infinity. So there are an infinite number of positions on this spectrum. We can use the spectrum to analyze gender by thinking of gender as 3 different dimensions that can each be described by a spectrum. So we have femaleness, womanness, or femininity, we have maleness, manness, or masculinity, and then we have other genders or third genders. One's gender can be described as the combination of positions across these 3 different spectrums. It's important to note that one's position on one of these spectrums is entirely independent of their position on the other 2 spectrums. So someone can occupy absolute 0 on 0, 1, 2, or 3 of these spectrums. Someone could occupy the maximum value on 0, 1, 2, or 3 of these spectrums. Someone could occupy any combination of positions across these 3 spectrums. Now that we understand that gender can be described as the combination of 3 different positions on 3 different spectrums, we can use that understanding of gender to describe 4 different dimensions of gender. These dimensions of gender can be broken down into self, which is how we think of our own gender, and others, which is the genders that we are attracted to. First, we have gender identity. Gender identity is how we think of our own gender. If we were just a bodiless head or a bodiless brain or soul or spirit floating around in the universe, how would we think of our own gender? How would we understand our gender? And this can be described using the same 3 spectrums we saw on the previous page of femaleness, maleness, and other genderness. Then we have gender expression, which is the way that we express our gender. This can be done through clothing, hairstyles, etc., etc. It's important to note that gender expression is not the same as gender identity. Then we have romantic or emotional attraction, which again can be described by the 3 different gender spectrums of femaleness, maleness, and other genderedness. Finally, we have physical or sexual attraction, which again can be described with the same 3 gender spectrums. It's important to note that physical or sexual attraction is not the same as romantic or emotional attraction. I want to take a brief moment to talk about sex assigned at birth. Sex assigned at birth can be either male, female, or intersex. It's very important to note that sex assigned at birth does not inform gender identity, gender expression, or romantic, emotional, or physical sexual attractions. These things are entirely independent of sex assigned at birth. There are a wide variety of words that can be used to describe queerness. In the LGBTQ+ community, we have so many terms that are able to describe a lot of different individual identities. Now, it's not vitally important to understand the nuances and history of every single individual term. The thing that is most important in the LGBTQ+ community is to recognize that there are a wide variety of different identities and to respect those identities. At the end of the day, the LGBTQ+ community is about recognizing, acknowledging, accepting, and celebrating each of these different identities, even if we ourselves don't understand them. Knowing the exact meaning and nuance of each individual term is less important than the overall idea that all of these identities are totally valid and should be accepted and celebrated. However, if you have a loved one who identifies with one of these terms, it may be worth it to know the definition. This is something that is easily found by a quick Google search. At the end of the day, we just want to be accepting and be celebratory. Just be kind. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Until next time.